Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. Now, as you can see, we're actually on holiday at the moment, and we have just finished a 5-day getaway of us being completely off grid. Now, what do I mean when I say off grid? Well, it means that we haven't actually connected up to any services like electric hookup. The only thing we have been reliant upon is a waste point for our chemical toilet and some fresh water for us to drink on. That's the only things that we have been reliant upon. Everything else, we've been self-contained in our own little caravan. So the purpose of this video is to show you how we've managed, how we've coped, what adjustments we've made to our living style, and also things to look out for if you want to consider going off grid. So before we go inside and show you exactly what we're doing, let's show you the setup outside. So our solar panel is a 2 by 50 watt panel. It's a suitcase configuration and it gives us 100 watts. The panel is plugged straight into the battery and our battery is 110 amp hour. Now realistically what I do is I track the sun throughout the day, so I face it dead south first thing in the morning, and then about midday I move it around to 90 degrees so it gets as much sunlight as we can. Now at fairly regular intervals, and I'm not obsessive about this, I do check the battery voltage to ensure that we are at least getting some decent charge into the battery. Now typically when the battery is not connected, on the panel in the Caravan it shows anywhere between 12 and 12.5 volts. With the panel connected and getting a good voltage, we're reading anywhere between 12.5 and 13.5 volts, depending on how much sunlight we've got. Now this week we've been away in April and the weather has been less than favourable. It's been cloudy, we've had sunny spells, but mostly it's been overcast, which means it's a bit of a challenge and a little bit more of a headache when you want to balance how much power you're using. But for a family of 4, for 5 days, we have used the TV quite considerably of an evening and during the day when it's been raining. We've used the radio when we want to listen to the shows in the morning. We've used our phones, we've charged them up. We've lived as normal as we usually would do if we were on electric hookup. Now, whilst we're talking about the TV, the radio and our charging of the phones, there is an important thing you need to remember. Everything that we've got here runs on 12 volts. So the TV, the radio, and obviously the chargers, etc. It's important that you do unplug it when you're finished with them, because even though they may be off, like the TV for instance, may be in standby, it's still consuming some power. And whilst we're talking about the TV, it's also important to remember to switch off the amplifier if you're using the aerial, because that does consume quite a bit of power and it's just sat there doing nothing. So at the end of watching TV, make sure you unplug it from the Caravan and also switch off the amp as well. Okay. Now the only thing that we do perhaps go through more than we normally would do is the gas supply. You see, for us the gas is supplying power to the fridge. It's also given us our hot water and it's also given us our heating. Now the heating we don't really need during the day, but in the evenings when the temperature does drop quite considerably, we need to put the heating on. Now if this was peak summertime, we probably wouldn't need the heating at all anyway. But certainly for hot waters, because we all need to have a shower, and for the fridge we certainly need to keep our food nice and cold, it's important that we do keep the gas supply topped up. Now typically we come away with a 6 kilo propane bottle. We usually come away with at least one full tank. Unfortunately, when we came away this time, we came away with just half a tank and we did run out of gas halfway through the holiday. But it's not a problem. I used the Gas app, found a local stockist and went and picked one up straight away. So we do run through a lot more gas than usual. Certainly we're cooking all our food on the Caravan as well, so we are quite heavy on the gas consumption. So why would you bother going off-gridding? What is the main attraction? What's the benefit? Well, for me, there's a number of reasons. But first of all, let's get to the brass tacks of how much it's going to cost. Our panel cost us £130 3 years ago. To stay away in a CL site where there's no facilities, no shower block and no electric hookup, you're going to be looking to be spending about £8.50 a night. I've had a look around this morning and I found a couple at that sort of price. That £8.50 is per night per unit. It's not per person, it's not for the pitch, it's not for awning extra, dogs extra, etc. No, that is the total cost, £8.50 a night. So if we were to go to that CL site, it would be £42.50 for a family of 4 in our own little space, which you can't really grumble at, can you? then the actual cost of what you're going to go through during the week, well, apart from the site fee, the only thing you're going to really go through is the gas. And obviously you can pick up a gas bottle for between 20 and 25 pounds, very much depending on where you top it up. Where we topped up this week, it was 24 pounds, so it wasn't too bad, to be honest with you, and we've gone through about half a bottle of that. So again, you know, you're doing it well within a reasonable price, and you can have a good holiday with all your setup fees and all your site fees and your consumables, what you're going to go through. You know, you're under £100 easily, and I think that's pretty good. The benefit of doing a CL site in the middle of nowhere off-grid is you're going to be pretty rural. It's going to be quiet. It's going to be very, very peaceful. And that's probably the biggest appeal for me and Angela, and in fact the kids, is that we're so peaceful. We're in the middle of nowhere, we're in the countryside, and we love it. And that's probably the reason why we do off-grid so often. There we go, guys, and I hope that has been a little bit of a taster as to why you should consider going off-grid. We're just packing up now, actually, after having a wonderful breakaway. It's been really excellent. We've been away from technology completely over these past 5 days, and we're just heading off now, and yeah, back into normality and everyday living. So I hope that's been used to you guys. Any questions, feel free to pop them down below, and I hope it's inspired you to get out there and use the great outdoors. So I'll see you again soon. Take care now. Bye bye.